Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your November 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into the safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Virgo be affected by the November 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Oh, goodness, okay. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy. Now the sun is in Scorpio, so this is going to be a very powerful time for us. Also, if we have Scorpio, Virgo in our natal chart or in our lives, they're coming through very powerfully at our root. And then we have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is Taurus energy. And why I laugh is because the sun is in Scorpio, the moon, this full moon, which is also a lunar eclipse, is in Taurus. And so this time, heavy hitting. Nothing is held back, and it's really quite intense, just really intense. So if we have Taurus within our natal chart or in our lives, they come through very powerfully at our roots. Then we have our inner selves. We have the Two of Swords, and we have the World. So the world is opening to us, and we're going to actually see ourselves being able to move forward on paths and in ways that we hadn't thought of before. We always thought there were two roads. Now we're going to start to see that there are more, but we can actually kind of be fighting against that. There can be these traditions, and I do air quotes with traditions because they don't necessarily have to be traditional, but they are the ideas that we have that have become a traditional narrative to ourselves. And now we're going to start to see us breaking that mold and moving forward in a different way, in a way that is more us than it was before. And then we have the King of Pentacles, Earth sign energy. Of course, this is us coming through at our heart, but also the Taurus energy of the full moon. This also is Capricorn. So Earth sign energy is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And so here we have that Earth sign energy coming through at the heart. We have Temperance coming through, which is Sagittarius energy. And again, if we have Sagittarius energy within our natal chart or within our lives, they affect us emotionally more so than others. Just as this moon affects us emotionally more so than other moons have, but also ourselves, we're going to tend to take things personally. We just are. And we're just going to have to be aware of that we're going to respond first emotionally, and astrologically that's also the case for everybody. So we're going to do so just a little bit more than other people. So just being aware of that helps to center us, just helps to say, okay, this is how I'm going to respond first, and I need to make sure that I have my feet firmly planted on the ground, that I'm not, snippy or snarky with anybody, and that I am moving forward in love and connection. Then we have the Six of Cups, which is memories. We're really going to be basing ourselves off of memories, off of the past during this time, and responding to things based off of past experiences, and we can actually be selling ourselves short. So do be mindful of this. And then we have the King of Cups, water sign energy coming through once again for Scorpio, but it's also Pisces and Cancer coming through right here in the public arena. So if you have any of these within our natal chart, that's going to be very much affecting us in the public world, but also if we have water sign energies within our lives. The sun is going to have a huge influence on us, and we're just going to have to be aware of that because it is going to impact us so intensely. Now, let's look at our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. So we have two. We have the King of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, and we have the Queen of Swords. This is the air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So what we have to be very mindful of here is our hearts and our minds. And it can be that the emotions really cloud our judgment on certain things. And so here emotionally, we're going to be looking at things and we're going to be opening ourselves up to where it is that we want to go and what it is that we want to do. And we have to be mindful that people might be manipulating that, but we also have to be mindful of the people who are going to be just emotionally abusive, just emotionally really, really super intense during this time, and kind of step back because they're also going to use words that they know will hurt us, that will, kind of break us down. So just being aware of that and being aware that because we are so emotionally inclined during this time, that intensity comes up. And then we have the chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And this is divine wisdom. This is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. This is the wisdom for ourselves and what we love and what we need coming to us from divinity, coming to us as a way to empower us, as a way to open up our lives and ourselves and to really move us forward. All right, so this is a tarot reading as well as an astrological reading. So let's start looking at this from an astrological standpoint. On the 19th of November, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, which we already know from the cards is going to be greatly effective towards us and greatly affect us. Everything is more intense when it comes to a lunar eclipse. So as in all full moons, the sun is opposite the moon, which brings with it relationships, which brings our relationships to the forefront of our minds and ourselves, and as well as making us aware of the opposite forces in our lives: work, home, wants, needs, other people's wants, our wants, other people's needs, our needs. And so we're starting to look at the way we're pulled in separate directions, and that can be where this new knowledge starts to come up. It's like, oh, wow, I could walk this road, or I could do this, instead of thinking that I have to stay in the rigidity of what I had originally thought. We're also much more emotionally aware and more spiritually and personally plugged in to what we want and need from our situations and from our lives. A lunar eclipse represents the resetting of our emotions and a clearing away of the baggage that we've been carrying for the past 6 months. And so this is really quite good for everybody involved, because even if we think, okay, I'm doing really quite fine, there's this emotional grayness around the world right now that we just have to acknowledge. And we have to acknowledge it within ourselves. We have to acknowledge it within our lives, and to be able to say, I'm moving towards something more powerful, something more beautiful within me, and I don't need to have this gray take me over. The full moon is in Taurus, which is the second sign in the zodiac. So this means that it's naturally linked with the second house, which represents the material world, material things, material life, food, bodies, and well-being. We are going to be told during this time to pay attention to the quality of things, not the quantity. The sun is in Scorpio, which is the 8th sign in the zodiac. This means that it naturally links with the 8th house, which is the house of regeneration and death. So a lot of times we get upset with that. We'll see the death card here and we'll think, oh my gosh, this is a bad time. And the sun is in Scorpio, so this is going to be intense. And, depending on how many Scorpios we know and how they've impacted our lives, we can give the side eye to Scorpio more than a lot of other zodiac signs because of the innate sense of sneakiness or rebirth, or, just kind of mystery. The mystery of death is kind of around them. And what we're going to find here is that this opens up a door to another world to us. This isn't a bad thing. This is about the evolution of ourselves and the fact that we're not the same person we were when we were 5 years old, when we were 10 years old, when we were 20 years old, 30, and so on and so forth, 40, 50. What we're going to find is that we are transforming. And as we transform, we have the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, and we have this new passion and power that we step into. As the second house in Taurus have us focusing on the material world, the eighth house in Scorpio have us connecting with the spiritual world and the esoteric side of life. These two things need to be balanced and they need to be understood within us. Taurus and the second house also have us linked with Mother Earth, and we're also going to really be looking at our earnings and our abilities to provide, which can be, a bit intense during this time. While Scorpio in the eighth house have us linked to the banks, savings, how we are able to care for things once everything is covered, once everything is dealt with. And this again can be very emotional. It can be very intense for a lot of us and everything that we're going through. Now, the moon is squared Jupiter, which brings hopefulness, enthusiasm into our lives, though it is also amplifying our emotions, and we already know our emotions are super leading us during this time, Virgo. We can feel a little bit out of place, but as we know that our emotions are being amplified, we need to be mindful of our hearts and our heart's reaction. It's just tuning into ourselves. It's being more present within our own bodies, within our own passions, within what we love and need from our lives. We are also going to have a tendency towards moodiness, irritability, and carelessness, and be it everybody's going to have this tendency. So we just have to be aware of it, kind of call things out when we see them, calling out within ourselves. People can kind of call us out, but we're also going to be able to call them out. So we're just going to have to watch that, because that can become a bit of a cat fight going on. So just being aware of this. We are being told to adopt an attitude of gratitude and of spirituality, not materialism, because it's going to be so easy during this time, and we'll get into why in just a little bit, but it's going to be so easy to fall into greed and materialism, because we're just going to have Jupiter on our side, which is like accumulate, look at the new horizon, open up the doors, go after what it is that you need. And then there's going to be the sense of, well, what if I've accumulated too much? Like, what if I've just kind of like overstepped that boundary? The moon trine Pluto. This brings us spiritual and emotional sensitivity, as well as enhancing and bringing to the forefront our psychic presence within our lives, our holistic presence within our lives. We're much more aware of us. And as we are much more aware of us, we start to step into the power and the beauty and the intensity that is us, that moves us forward, that connects with who we are and where it is that we want to be. We will be feeling powerful, which also makes us more emotional. Everything comes back to our emotions. There's a subconscious urge for the evolution of ourselves, especially at a spiritual level. And this is empowered by the energy of Jupiter, which helps us to achieve our goals and align ourselves with our karmic destiny. The eclipse aspect of this time is the alignment of the sun, the moon, Jupiter, and Pluto, which creates a quadrilateral, which is known as the animated figure. Now, the animated figure, just as its name, suggests, starts to bring things to life. It's not necessarily going to happen easily or overnight, and it's not necessarily going to happen, all at once. But what is going to happen is that things are coming to the surface psychically, physically, mentally, that let us tap into our imagination and our perseverance and our perception of this time to get the job done, to move ahead. Just be mindful, because we'll have a sense of it's either all or nothing. Either I do everything and I do it absolutely perfectly, or I'm just going to walk away from it all. And we can get really frustrated with people also, because they'll have the same mentality everybody kind of does, that either I'm the best of the best or it's not even worth it. And so kind of calling out that energy and being aware of it is going to be so very important, and being kind to ourselves. Now, the fixed star Algol is here, and Algol is a bit much. Okay, so Algol is known as the most evil star in the heavens, and it represents the head of Medusa in the constellation of Medusa, who was killed by Perseus. And it's a lot to live up to. I mean, first of all, when you read the most evil star in the heavens, it's like, oh, okay, what the heck? I don't want this time to be around me. But also, it's a lot. It's a lot that comes from Algol. It's a sense of violence and extremes and misfortune and carelessness and yeah, it's a lot. And everything that we could think that can go wrong can be aligned with the star. So what we have to do here and what we have to be mindful of is that we need to be at a high energy vibration, even if that means taking it slower, even if that means just being kinder to ourselves, whatever that means, because Algol can have us lose our heads just so easily, have us, become too angry about things, have us, just kind of fly off the handle. And so by steadying ourselves and grounding ourselves and connecting with ourselves, we're going to be able to withstand the trappings of this fixed star. Also, we need to very much be mindful of not falling into greed. And this is where the whole greed comes in again, because it will be something that we regret. And it'll be something here that we go after like viciously. So just being aware of that and just being aware of the work games, just being aware of the games that people play and the manipulations that they have. And this is going to be a time where we really find ourselves transforming. We really do find ourselves stepping into the light of Scorpio, which sounds like an odd thing to say. But during this time, even with the moon trine Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. And so here, or rules Scorpio. And so here we have that aspect of Scorpio coming forward. And we have that aspect of power and intensity and brilliance coming. And we also have a strong link to the Jupiter energy with the moon squared Jupiter, all right, with Sagittarius, because that rules Sagittarius. So the heavens here really speak to us. The heavens are opening up to us in a way that we haven't seen before in quite a while, because we have, the sun, the moon, the stars, the planetary alignment coming in, and it guides us towards something more than we expected. This is a heavier hitting time than we are prepared for. And so what happens here is we see ourselves transforming. We might not like that transformation. It might be something that we say, okay, why am I so angry, or why am I so frustrated, or why am I hurting all the time, or what's going on here? How do I connect with my body? How do I connect with the holistic being that is myself, my love, my passion, my determination, my focus, my brilliance? How is it that I open up this door? And what Scorpio is telling us is that we are transforming. What Scorpio is telling us is to be ready and to be connected, because Taurus is a moon of sensuality, and the sun, Scorpio, is an essence of sensuality. We often read of Scorpios being highly sexual, and yes, that can be the case, but it depends also on the individual and the balancing of their chart and everything that's going on. But we can feel highly sexual during this time. We can feel this great desire to really tap into our bodies and ourselves and what we love and what we need and what pleasure is for us and how we move forward in that pleasure. And it doesn't mean that we have to be going out with anybody or having relations with anyone. What it means is that we're tapping into our own bodies, our own passions. We're moving forward with a sensual beauty that we're starting to accept ourselves with. Instead of looking at ourselves and saying, oh, this is everything that I don't like about me, it's starting to look at ourselves and saying, this is everything I love about me. This is my beauty and my passion. And as we do this, we again start to transform ourselves, and it leads us to that Hierophant mentality, to that sense of power, because the Hierophant is the most powerful card in the deck, because it represents the Pope, and the Pope in medieval times, nobody was more powerful than the Pope. The Pope dictated to kings and queens, emperors and empresses. And so there is absolute power here. As we step into the traditions of ourselves, as we step into what we desire, what we need, what we want, who it is that we are, what it is that we're going after within our lives, and as we claim our passion. And as we look at things, we're also going to find that this moon has us grounding ourselves in our traditions, has us grounding ourselves in the very essence of who we are and what we want from this life. It's not about everybody else. It's about us. It's about the connection that we have with those that we love. It's about the beauty that we share as we open up the door to what we desire within our lives. And that opens up the world. And it just does. It opens up the world in a very real way. It opens up the world in a very powerful way. There is a sense here of I'm seeing how I move forward. And it's not necessarily through trying on 500,000 different hats and seeing how we walk out into this world and what best fits us. It's by looking into our mind, because here he's napping after reading a fairy tale. It's stepping into our minds. It's stepping into what we desire for ourselves. It's looking at our hopes and our dreams and our wishes and the sense of there's more here. There's more here than I realize. There's more here than I could ever have known. And so as I start to claim me, as I start to embrace me, as I start to honor me, I move forward in this power, in this greatness that is me. And that's where we start to see the world opening in a very different way. We start to see ourselves being able to move forward, and not in those two rigid lines that we had before. Either we did this or we did this. But it's a sense of there's so much more here than meets the eye. There's a sense of I could try something that is maybe less conventional. I can try something that is more me. I can connect with me more than I have before because I was afraid. I was afraid that if I connect, things would fall apart. And what Spirit is saying here is let yourself shine. Let yourself be. Because what we're going to see is that the King of Pentacles, there we go. The King of Pentacles has us moving towards our greatness, has us embracing our greatness, the highest court card in the representation of the Pentacles. And so here we're representing our highest self. We're representing a sense of power and of absolute tenacity and insight and ideas and desires. We're looking at how we want to create things. We're looking at things through a knowledgeable understanding of ourselves, of how we're developing, of where we're developing to, of what it is that we want, of where it is that we want to be. And that starts to change the game. That starts to lead us forward in a way that we think, oh wow, oh wow, I can do this. Like, oh wow, I can open up this door. I can move forward this way. And the King of Pentacles brings us to this prosperity. It brings us to this bounty. What we're also going to see is a lot of things come to us from our dreams. And a lot of our subconscious self is connecting with our emotional self. And so this could be a time where we feel a little bit confused, a little bit overwhelmed. We're thinking, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I moving forward the right way? And if we keep our eye on what it is that we're growing and nurturing, if we keep ourselves grounded in this reality and in this passion and in these ideas, we're going to start to see that we're finding this balance. We're finding this balance between the spiritual and the everyday, the mundane, but also the material. We're finding ourselves, we're embracing ourselves, we're looking and we're going deeper and deeper into our emotions, which have us going deeper and deeper into our soul. And as we do this, our world starts to change. We start to change. We start to see ourselves in a different light. We start to embrace more than meets the eye. And as we're embracing the passion and the power and the insight, we're finding a balance and a beauty to us that has been elusive before, that has been meant to guide us here. And just as with the moon squared Jupiter, we become hopeful, we become enthusiastic, we look at our lives and we say there's beauty here, there's a reason for my existence, it's not all for nothing. Because sometimes we can become very nihilistic. It's like, what's even the point? And what Spirit's saying here is, don't you dare give up on you, don't you dare walk away from you, because this is your life and these are your dreams and you matter and you get to walk forward in them. And as we do this, we have the public arena and the Six of Cups. And this is why the Six of Cups comes up. Because in the public arena, as we're kind of battling for our own worth within our hearts, the Six of Cups is telling us, remember when everything was going beautifully. But we're also going to have a tendency to remember when everything was falling apart. Remember when it was so hard and so chaotic and so terrible, where we felt so small within this world. And we didn't think we could choose a path other than the ones laid out for us. And this is going to be something that wants to kind of halt us in our tracks. And it's going to be the battle of the mind, the battle of our perception, the battle of the way that we want to move forward, that has us seeing ourselves more openly, more honestly, more respectfully, more beautifully than we have before. But that's only if we can say that this old narrative doesn't get to keep on repeating and repeating within my life, doesn't get to be the everything. And so here with the Six of Cups, we're starting to heal ourselves. And we're looking at the beautiful moments in our lives as well. And we're knowing that we can never repeat them, but that we can, embrace their memory and have that good energy vibration around us as we move forward in life. It brings us to the King of Cups. It brings us to a place of understanding, but it also brings us to a place of that understanding that we only rule ourselves, that there's nobody else in this world that we have complete control over. And so here we are embracing our emotional, beauty. We are embracing our hearts and our passions and our desires. We are looking at love. We are looking at connection. We are connecting with ourselves. And this is in the public arena where we have to realize I have to step forward with my heart. I have to step forward with my passion. I have to step forward with what I desire from my life as I move forward to the beauty and the intensity and the complexity that is me. And as the King of Cups comes, I start to fall in love with what I desire. I start to see myself openly and honestly. And it's not about what everybody else does. It's how I traverse this terrain. It's how I embrace myself. It's how I move forward in this chaotic passion and this chaotic beauty that is my life and me. It moves us to our Luna message. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. At our root, we have a new moon in Aquarius, so that Aquarius energy really coming forward right here, right now. And it says, bring love into the situation and have faith. So bring love into the situation and have faith. And for some reason, that Aquarius energy is coming up very strongly. And I don't know exactly why that is, but it's also because we have to bring love. Okay, that's why. It's because we have to bring love into the situation. We have to move forward with the power of our hearts, or else we don't see ourselves. We don't connect with ourselves. There isn't that beauty there. And so that's going to be a very powerful thing for us. It moves us to our inner self, which we have prosperity lies ahead with the new moon in Taurus. And the new moon in Taurus, that Taurus energy is really quite strong within our lives. We have, the Hierophant, the essence of Taurus coming through, and we have the King of Pentacles, which is ourselves, as well as Taurus. And so here, prosperity lies ahead, growth. It is what we grow from. It's as we walk forward and understanding that maybe we don't take the conventional path. Maybe we look at things from love, kindness, compassion, and the honoring of our hearts. But we look at things and say, how do I walk forward as me? Not as, the approximation of what everybody wanted me to be, but as who I am and what I desire and what I love within my world. And it brings us then to the emotional self, which says, step out of your comfort zone, nourishment. Step out of your comfort zone as you nourish yourself, as you nourish your expectations and your dreams and your balance, because then we have adjustments are required. Focus. In the public arena, adjustments are required. Yes, focus. Focus on the bigger picture. Focus on the visualization of how you want to move forward. And then we're going to start to see ourselves in a very different light. But it comes because this moon is giving us a new view of who we are, a new view of where we want to be, a new sense of I'm stepping into the power and the complexity that is me. It moves us to our subconscious Luna message, which is meditation and contemplation, wisdom. Through meditation and contemplation comes the wisdom of who we are, and comes the wisdom of what we desire. And that's so funny because the next card is the full moon eclipse, which is exactly what we're going through. And it says conclusions are within reach. So that is, and gratitude. So conclusions are within reach. Have gratitude to the wisdom of this moon that leads us forward. That is really quite beautiful, because I wasn't going to lift up these cards. And then Spirit said, well, you lifted up all the others. Lift these up too. So the connection that we have with this full moon eclipse is going to be so much more than what we expect. And it moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's the Lovers. This is falling into passion. Now, this is also Gemini energy, so we might very well need to be mindful of Gemini energy. But this is also letting passion decide things for us, decide the way that we move forward. It's moving for the sake of lust instead of for the power of love. It brings us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is truth. This is the third chakra. Speak your truth. Embrace truth. Because it's kind of like live your life in such a way that if people were to speak ill of you, others wouldn't believe them. So they might not like the truth that we have. They might not see eye to eye with us. But it's like, okay, I know you're honest. I know you're trustworthy. I know that this is who you are, and you live in this truth, which is so powerful and so unique in our world. And that's going to be the light that we shine through with. It's like, I move forward in the truth that is me. And so there's just this intensity to it. It brings us then to our subconscious rooted energy, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Everything is changing. And we feel that. We feel that on a very subconscious level, that things aren't going to be the same, and we're not going to be in the same boat that we were before. It's our world is moving, and we're moving forward with it. It brings us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Hangman. We see things differently than everybody else. We can feel like we're in limbo for a little bit, like our world has been put on pause, but we see things differently than everybody else. And the Hangman has us embracing these different insights, these different ideas, but also needing to understand that we're not supposed to fit in like everybody else. Embrace who we are. And even if it's different than who we think that we're supposed to be, there's still power and there's still, intensity to that. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the Eight of Cups. We're walking away from something we once thought we would love. There's an ending here. And this full moon is showing us this ending. It's the eclipse that's really pulling it out. It's like, okay, I need to walk away from this in order to embrace me, in order to embrace what I desire, want, need, who I am. I can't make it fit anymore. And this doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something as powerful as a divorce. It could be something as powerful as a change of careers. But what it is also is a sense of, I need to be open and honest with myself. What do I want? What do I need? How am I moving me forward to where it is that I want to be? And it's understanding that we might have thought, oh my gosh, I do this forever. And we're finding, no, forever is just too long. And I'm not happy. Happiness matters. We tend to think that it doesn't, kind of buck it up and be stoic. But happiness matters. Living a life that we feel connected to and we feel passionate about. That's extraordinary. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And that's the Page of Pentacles. Here we have new experiences. This card says new experiences. We have new experiences coming forward, but we also have the sense of being a student of the seeds that we are planting, of what it is that we desire, of the ways that we are opening up to our lives. The new experiences come, and we look at things in a much more honest, open, intense way. And in the way of saying, I don't have everything figured out. I'm learning and I'm embracing. Excuse me. All right, Virgo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this full moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo.